Warning, spoilers.
Hey everyone, how's it going? And welcome to part 2. So, let's get started on my top 5 favorite comics of 2021.
Number 5. The King in Black. This is a storyline that Donny Cates has been building up since he took over the Venom book. Hell, you can argue that it actually has been going on even before that. Now, the main plot is that the god of the symbiotes, Null, has broken free from his prison and is seeking vengeance on the universe. And boy, it is a slaughter. This whole story is an event comic, but also a horror story, because it gets brutal for a lot of characters. And also does a good job highlighting Venom here, who I don't think has ever really played a part in events before, so it was really cool to see Venom and the other symbiotes play a massive part here. Along with that, we also see Donny Cates' other characters he's been writing, like the Silver Surfer and Thor, have some serious play. There's also some good personal drama in here too, since the story also focuses on Dylan Brock, Eddie's son, who was introduced in Donny Cates' run, having to deal with this threat and the power that he has deep within him. Now, there were a few nitpicks I have about it, but I only really talk about two since one of them is a major spoiler. First being that unless you've actually been following Donny Cates' Venom run, you are going to be lost on a good chunk of this. Also, I feel like when it came to the trade, they should have added the Venom tie-in to the King in Black book, since we do get some major revelations. This story kicks ass. The action is great, the drama is great, characters are well written, it's just a great story. And I really believe that King in Black will be well remembered as one of Marvel's greatest events. Number 4. The Immortal Hulk, the weakest there is. The Immortal Hulk by Al Ewing is such a great Hulk run. Like, Donny Cates is currently writing the Hulk right now, and I gotta say, he has some big shoes to fill. Though arguably Al Ewing does the same thing since he's also writing Venom. Yeah, they pretty much just switched the characters they're writing. But point is, the Immortal Hulk is a phenomenal story. And this one here is probably my favorite. Mostly because of the issue where the Hulk, which is right now in a interesting state of mind, I will just say that for now, where he is reverted to either this childlike behavior to being Joe Fixit, and they're kind of in this situation where they're just forced to just sit down with the Thing and talk to him. The conversation is really interesting, and that part alone is very well done. Don't get me wrong, the action's really cool and the imagery is both badass but horrifying, but that moment alone I think is really cool, and it dives into a biblical allegory that doesn't come off as preachy and appropriate for the story. Now, of course, there is the big story that's going on, which involves Bruce Banner and the Hulk dealing with a force that they can't just simply punch away. It's both philosophical, it's emotional, it's action-packed, and the supporting characters are great too, with the Hulk's friends and family just trying to make sense of the whole thing. It's just a really good story. Plus, also, I kind of been loving that Thing has been getting a bit more of a highlight lately in Marvel, outside of Fantastic Four, since he's actually one of my favorite Marvel characters. Now, the downside with this is that you have to be following the Immortal Hulk series up to this point, or you're gonna be confused. Yeah, they do give you a heads up on what's been going on, but it still helps if you're following the series. This is one story where being the weakest there is actually the most interesting. Number 3. Green Arrow, 80th anniversary. Yeah, Green Arrow made the list here, despite the fact that he actually doesn't have his own solo series right now. I mean, okay, he does have that team-up story with Aquaman and he is part of the JLA, but yeah, as for a solo series, yeah, he doesn't have one right now. But I gotta say, for an anniversary issue, this was really good. It does a good job of paying tribute to all versions of Green Arrow, from his golden age to the weird tone shift that he had in the New 52 to what the character's like right now. Now, of course, we get the return of some of Green Arrow's writers like Jeff Lemire. Though not all of them come back. Surprisingly, Kevin Smith didn't really come back to write a story. But all the stories are really well done, the art's pretty great, and the final story is, well, I don't want to spoil it, but I gotta say, it is both very touching and heartbreaking. Like, seriously, I actually really got emotional with the ending. But yeah, if you are a fan of Green Arrow, or you just want to get into the character, I'd recommend giving this book a look. It's tons of fun. Number 2. Nightwing, leaping into the light. This is the beginning of a new era of Nightwing. After being Rick for so long, Dick Grayson has officially returned, and yeah, things are looking up. After returning as Nightwing, he finds out that he has inherited a massive fortune. From who? Well, Alfred. After Alfred unfortunately passed in the not-so-great story City of Bane, we learned that apparently Alfred did a really good job investing his money and made it very clear that if anything ever happened to him, Dick Grayson would get it. And as the story goes on, we get to see Dick Grayson debate on what he will do with this money and how he could help people, while also dealing with threats like Blockbuster, who has taken the city of Bloodhaven and is pretty much become the head honcho, and also new threats like Heartless, and also encountering the new mayor of Bloodhaven, a Mayor Zuko, whose father is in fact Tony Zuko, aka the man that killed Dick's parents. But is there more to this Mayor Zuko? And can Dick trust her? And of course, we get the introduction of Haley, Nightwing's pet dog, and probably one of the cutest things that have come into comics in 2021. I mean, just look at her. Adorable. But yeah, if you are a person who has been feeling that DC has gone way too dark and gritty and want to see more hopeful stories, yeah, check out Nightwing Leap into the Light. It's definitely one of those.
Before we get to number 1, here are some honorable mentions.
Batman Superman, The Archive of Worlds. This is a very creative story and does a great job paying tribute to both the golden age of Batman Superman and cinema in general. I don't want to spoil exactly what the plot is, but let's just say someone out there has an eye for Superman and Batman and believes that they can make a great big picture. Why is it not on the list? Well, to simply put it, I haven't been able to finish it. So yeah, I'm not going to talk about a story that I haven't seen from beginning to end. Transformers Beast Wars by IDW. This is a great reimagining of the Beast Wars series. It still feels like Beast Wars while also having its own flavor and introducing some new characters like Nyx and Scold, and also bringing in some characters who didn't get to show up on the Beast Wars series. Like right now we have Razor Beast. It's a pretty interesting backstory that connects to Scold. But yeah, the reason why it's not on the list, well, second verse, same as the first. I haven't been able to get all the issues. So, yeah, I'm gonna have to wait for trade. But what I have seen so far, I've been really enjoying. Robin, 2021, by Joshua Williamson. This could easily have been number 1 for me. I have been enjoying the series from beginning to end. It's a great redemption arc for Damian's character after the crappy Glass run of Teen Titans. It's a fun tournament arc. There's some good lore building. We have some good twists and turns, some great character introductions, and yeah, the action and artwork is just phenomenal. The only reason it is not number 1 is because, well, the first arc isn't really done. I believe by the time of this recording, there is one more issue left, and then they'll be moving on to the next arc. But yeah, I'm just not going to incorporate a series whose first story arc isn't even done. But I do recommend checking it out. And my number 1 favorite comic of 2021 is Amazing Spider-Man King's Ransom. This story is a lot of fun. Besides Nick Spencer poking fun at social media in new costumes without making it feel really cringy, it's also just a really cool character moment for Peter Parker and Boomerang. Yeah, Boomerang. The character that, yeah, most people kind of forgot after Superior Foes Spider-Man. But Nick Spencer didn't forget, and he gave Boomerang a really great story arc. The main plot of the story is that Boomerang has been hunted down by the Kingpin. Why? Well, to simply put it, he actually has the key to bending reality at his will, and he hopes that Spider-Man will help him. And luckily, he's willing to, because during this run of Nick Spencer, they have become very close friends, and yeah, it's a really great bromance. It's a really good story with some great action, a good balance of drama and comedy. I especially love the moment where Spider-Man's trying to convince all the other heroes to help out Boomerang, and they just do not want to deal with him. I don't want to spoil it, but the ending is pretty bittersweet, where it leaves the characters wondering if they really did do the right thing, and also have a lot of regret in their hearts. Kingpin's also really well done here, and it's actually kind of funny that I bring up Kingpin here since he's just returned to the MCU, and no, I don't think he's dead. They do not waste someone like Vincent D'Onofrio, but whatever. My point is, Kingpin is also really well done here, and I'm looking forward to seeing his story continue in the Devil's Reign storyline. But in here, it's really cool, and we actually don't really get to see Kingpin face off against Spider-Man nowadays, at least in comics, so that was pretty nice. It's my favorite arc in the Nick Spencer run, which is kind of funny because it really has nothing to do with any of the stuff that got me into Nick Spencer's Spider-Man run. Kindred has really nothing to do with it. Peter and MJ, though they have some pretty sweet moments together, aren't really the main focus, and there's no moment where they mention One More Day and the hint that it might be undone. I won't get into it, but yeah, it kind of sort of didn't, but might someday? I don't know, it's still kind of odd. But what they do here is really good, and also reminded me a lot of the 90s Spider-Man show in some of the best ways. So yeah, I definitely recommend giving Amazing Spider-Man King Ransom a look, and it is my favorite story of 2021.
And that's the list. Let me know in the comment section down below if you agree, disagree, or just want to share your top 5 favorites of 2021. Thanks for watching. As always, like, subscribe, and have a happy new year. Man, these chapters are short.
Hey, Bizarro. You want to know what my New Year's resolution is?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to figure out what you really are. Because clearly, you're not going to just tell me. I don't care how long it takes, what I have to go through, but I'm going to...
I'm a dream demon.
Are you serious? What? Seriously, what?
Happy New Year, everyone.
What?